Welcome everybody back to A&M in the AM, episode 66. After a 10-week hiatus, 10.5-week
Something like that.
hiatus, we're back. A lot has happened. MLB season finished. NBA season started.
A lot
Football
came and
season.
went.
Football season started. Both NFL and college. Basketball or college basketball season just recently started. So we got a lot of topics to talk about. I mean,
Mhm.
I know you just did your short recap of what happened with the Tigers this morning. We're recording this on actually early for an A&M.
Oh, yeah, it's very early.
We're recording this on the 15th. As of this morning, Tigers started off they kind of started their offseason a little bit earlier, signing or trading for Tucker Barnhart from the Reds, but they signed Eduardo Rodriguez, not official yet, but 5 years, $77 million from the Red Sox. First free agent, first big free agent move of the year. I feel like Andrew Heaney's gone. That was another big name that went off the board first, but
It's
kind
in
of
fact the actual, in my book, it's the biggest free agent signing since Jonathan Scope. Actually, I mean, arguably could put it higher, but I love Jonathan Scope, so I'm not. But you could say, I mean, it's top two Al Avila signings of all time. So
well, I mean, yeah, never mind.
Scope's number one and Eduardo Rodriguez number two.
Yeah, I was like, that's a bold take, but I forgot Alavila's been here during our shitty time. So,
Well, yeah, and
um,
he's also the one with Jordan Zimmerman and.
yep.
Well, actually, I don't know. I keep trying to pin that on him, and I'm gonna continue it. My memory is as we know, not amazing, but I'm pretty sure that Jordan Zimmerman and Justin Upton were him, and I'm gonna keep pinning it on him because I'm about 90% sure it was him.
I have a feeling it was too. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm trying to see here real fast when he became the manager of the or general manager of the Tigers.
It was like 2016 because
Uh,
it was like
it was
2016 or 17, which
2015.
oh,
On
15.
August
Oh,
4th, he was promoted to general manager of the Tigers.
then yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, but that's nor here or there. But Eduardo Rodriguez, first signing of this free agency, is expected to be one of the biggest free agent one of the biggest off seasons for the Tigers in recent history. Got a
Oh yeah.
bunch of prospects that are going to be in question on if they're coming up or not. And Torkelson and Riley Green. And then obviously you got your young pitching core that they all three debuted last year for the first time together. And now you're obviously adding Eduardo Rodriguez onto that. What's your outfield going to look like? What's your infield going to look like with a lot of young guys like Castro and Paredes trying to make their way in that bunch there with, obviously you're going to have Candelario who just won MVP for the team. And it doesn't seem like he's going out of there.
He's looking like he's probably gonna get an extension too.
Yeah. So,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
look.
that creates a problem for Paredes and Willie kind of trying to find their spot in that lineup with possibly a shortstop coming in free agency and Miggy and Torkelson trying to figure out along with Scope who's going to be, that second base, first base combination there.
Let me
But
find
yeah, I mean,
this.
I know you talked about it a lot in your video and your podcast, so I'll refer them over there to that on Apple Music or Spotify.
Spotify. I mean, it's on the
Um,
other ones too, but those are the two
main
most
ones.
popular ones. I'm trying to
I mean,
find the lineup that I made for the Tigers just recently.
all right, but I mean, just a quick look at what the rotation could look like with uh Eduardo Rodriguez being put into it. Because obviously you probably talked about that in a little bit more, but I think personally, Mize, Eduardo Rodriguez as 2, Skubal 3, Willie Peralta 4, Matt Manning 5. I
You were
think they bring.
you were
I
spitting
think
there.
I think Peralta comes back on a very cheap deal again. I think he likes the organization. They gave him a chance. I think he's kind of a spot starter. Obviously he's going to be in the top 5 of the rotation, but I think he's a spot starter, but a guy that,
There it
as
is.
the season went on, he was definitely able to get more and more innings for them, and I think he can get an established role again at, 33 years old.
See, you were spitting there because I had the exact same thing in
In the exact
in
same
my
order?
episode, except I had I had Willie Peralta at the 5 with Matt Manning at 4, but I had it Mize. I said that I would personally do Eduardo Rodriguez in between Mize and Skubal,
You know?
just to take on the innings and kind of give some separation between the young guys. Because,
Yep.
like I had said, for the past few years, Eduardo Rodriguez has been the 1 or 2 guy for the Red Sox. So to say, he'd have to move to 3 in the Tigers is a little difficult.
Yeah, I
And
saw your tweet out before this that you set him at 3, and I'm like, I know that's not his actual opinion. I think he has him at 2, but
yeah, I mean, now that they have their innings thing out of the way with Mize and Skubal, putting Eduardo Rodriguez in the middle just to eat up more innings, I think would be perfect. I think without a doubt, Mize is number 1. Just I mean, like I said, I could see if he was 3 and separated um Skubal and Manning because
yeah.
of Manning's innings limits coming up. But also, I mean, if they got somebody else like a Justin Verlander, John Gray, for some reason Anthony Desclafani, then you can put him before Matt Manning. But
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
still in
mean,
favor of Willie Peralta. I want Willie Peralta all the way.
yeah, no, I think you definitely need somebody buffering in between each of your young guys there, so definitely a new 2 and a new 4. I think that would be a perfect situation here. And, I mean, keep in mind that Turnbull's probably out for the entire year. I don't know if that's
Him,
official yet.
he's out, and Boyd's probably like a significant amount still too.
But I mean, how much longer does Boyd have on that contract?
I think he's got 1 or 2 years. I swear he just might have extended it. I think he might have 2 years. I don't remember for sure. I kind of just forget he exists at this point because he's not going to be a factor really that much when he comes back.
I think
Um,
Boyd turned into if he does come back, turned into a bullpen arm. I just have a
or
feeling
they just
because
try to
he's had so
get
much.
whatever kind of scraps out of him if they can.
Yeah, scraps, wait till his if they wanna wait till his contract's up and just use him as a decent bullpen arm, a former starter that, can't do as many innings anymore, kinda like a Fulmer. They conferred him to the bullpen
hmm
after he had his injury issues and, he was overused. I think but that could kinda be a okay fit for Boyd maybe, putting him back there.
I was also saying that say they don't get any other pitchers, they were already kind of trying to secure Tyler Alexander a spot in the rotation, so I could see that
Yeah.
also happening. If not, then I guess you fall back on him. But I'd
Yeah,
rather have
Tyler
Willie
or
Peralta and then Tyler Alexander after him. But
Yeah, Tyler Alexander or I mean, Willie, Tyler Alexander, and then Funkhauser can kinda be their
yeah,
openers, their opener guys.
I'd keep Funkhauser in the bullpen, but also I'm not too fond of having 3 starting pitchers in the rotation. I mean, geez, 3
Well,
left-handed
yeah,
pitchers in the rotation, which it
that
would
is
be of Skubal, Eduardo, and Tyler Alexander. So
uh, and then, I mean, just final, take here before we move on, because obviously we don't wanna talk too much about them because we want them listening to you over on yours, and your takes, but, I mean, off season's coming up. We got a long time till spring training. Correa already seems done in the books as of right now. Nothing's official, but it seems like that deal may be done before
yeah,
December 1st
I'm not
because
gonna
the
listen to
lockout.
that. Well, yeah, the lockout thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to the part about them saying that it's done and everything because it's not gonna be. I do think that they have to get it done before December, but at the same time, it's really gonna show. And I almost said this earlier, but I didn't, and I almost tweeted it also, but because I kind of just thought about it more on the spot. Chris Ilitch is such a head in the owners like association thing, whatever they have. Um, he's up there in like he's like the chairman or something of it, and obviously he's gonna know if there's gonna be one coming first before a majority of people would. So I think that would signify if he gets like a Correa signing done before that deadline, then it might show he's hearing bad things and he's
Yeah.
trying to be prepared for it. But at the same time, he's also trying to save himself money any chance he can. He's been making that well known that if it saves him money by forcing them into a lockout and shortened season or whatever else, that he's going to do it. He's going to hold out and he'll sign them after.
Well,
But
I think they already said that because they experienced this with the COVID season, that I mean, a lockout's not good for either side.
well, yeah,
Both people lose a lot of money,
as long as it
especially
doesn't
the owners.
as long as it doesn't affect the actual season, whatever. Just argue amongst yourselves. Just don't affect the regular season.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I completely get
but
that.
I would say that that's what it would look. I would look at based off of. I mean, I won't Korea either way, but the
Yeah,
lockout thing,
obviously.
you'll know if it's coming. I think I would base it off of if they make another big move and he wants to get it secured before anything else falls through or whatever. But unless the only like I'm saying, the only thing is if he sees that he can save money in a new CBA, then he'll do that and he'll hold out.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll know it's coming because Jeff Passan will,
Well, yeah, Jeff Pass will be all
he'll
over it.
he'll scream at us. He'll
He'll
send about 5 or 10 tweets screaming at us the week
he'll
beforehand.
know about it before Illich knows about it again somehow again with him being the chairman. But I think he's the chairman. He's something like big up in the front. I mean, of the owners.
Owners Owners Association. Alright, last question. Obviously, early on, don't know who's all making the team with free agency, don't know any surprises from spring training. Are Torkelson, and just want a yes or no answer, and then you can give a short explanation. Are Torkelson and Riley Green on the team within the first 3 months of the season?
First,
Yeah, I'm not giving you just, I'm not giving you just a month to play with. I'm saying the first 3 months, are they on the active roster? They're obviously gonna be on the 40-man, I have a feeling. Torkelson and Green, they're obviously gonna be on the 40-man, I have a feeling. But are they on the active MLB roster within the first before July?
yes,
Both of them?
yeah. They're
Uh,
saying right now though that it might just be Riley Green or the other way around. Might just be Torkel. Might just be one of them.
okay.
I'm still not. I'm still in the boat of I don't personally feel unless they have monstrous spring trainings. I don't personally think they make the team out of spring training. But again, as I've been saying, that just depends on what the CBA says. If they still have the time to manipulate their time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not ready. I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm saying that if that stays in there where they have to have the service time in the minor leagues so that way they can gain another year, they'll do that. That I'm not
Yeah.
against them being with the team. I'm
No.
not like, oh, like these other guys give a chance. No, I mean, I want them there, sure, but it's just really going to depend on if that's still a thing or not, the service time, and if they'll be manipulated. And I just think that if I'm basing it off of, I think there still will be some kind of manipulation. So I'm gonna say no. It'd be like after April or something.
No. And lastly, I mean, this is kind of a weird thing to ask, but or even like mention, but Dylan Dingler, AAA next year.
I mean, honestly,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
Because Jake Rogers having Tommy John, Haas is still up. They just got Tucker Barnhart. Grayson Griner is gonna have to get designated for assignment. To
Dustin
clear,
Garneau is really your only
yeah,
other guy kicking
Dustin
around there.
Garneau is probably gonna get designated for assignment also. Um, so yeah, I would say so. I don't know who the other catcher was in Toledo besides
It was,
Griner.
it was. I'll be honest, I think it was just nobody. To be honest with you,
So
it wasn't. I don't
yeah,
think it was. I don't. I really don't think it was a prospect or anything. I think it was honestly just like somebody that they kind of had to sign down there.
yeah, it probably was. So yeah, I would say, yeah, I would put him there. Like I said, I mean, then again, Griner or Garneau probably clears waivers and just goes back to Toledo anyway, so one of them will be backing him up.
Yeah, I feel like it might be a like Dustin Garneau situation that he'll go down there. I mean, it would make sense. Give him a chance to kind of like what Rialto Nunez did, kind of try to get some traction, maybe sign to an MLB team, and then if he doesn't, then you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He had like a little surge at the end of the season, but I don't think anybody's banking on that. They're not all running
Well,
out
no,
like, oh,
no,
let me go get Dustin Garneau.
I'm not saying that like he signs with like an MLB team this offseason. I'm saying go down to AAA, play like half a season. If a team needs a veteran center or catcher, he goes there on a small deal.
I mean, maybe, yeah, I would put Dingley there, I guess. I don't know how we finished the year, but
He
I'd
finished
put him
on a
there.
surge because he was surging with when like Torkelson and Riley Green were too.
Yeah, I
But
think he might have been hurt or something. He wasn't playing for a little bit.
I remember it seemed like he was always a step behind. So like Torkelson and Dingler both got moved up obviously from A. And then Dingler, he was having a good season. It's just I don't think they had a spot for
I
him
think
up in
something
AAA.
happened though where he had like a small injury and they shut him down or something.
Yeah, that easily could have been, it too. But, uh,
Before we move
Tiger.
on, after I searched it, I want to just say my lineup that I made.
Okay.
Um, I'm still going off of this. This is a very early lineup, as we may remember. I called the lineup on opening day last year to a T, got them all right,
All right.
positions, order, everything.
Is
Everybody,
this your is this gonna be your opening day lineup as of right now?
yeah, everybody
All
called
right.
me crazy for it, but I had it all right. This will be my opening. This is opening day in Comerica. I mean, it's not really going to change. With them playing in Seattle on actual opening day.
Well, yeah, because
Uh,
we'll have a DH there too. So
yeah. So I mean, maybe catcher would be different, like actual opening day in Seattle.
yeah, I was gonna say the only thing that would be different probably is depending on who the pitcher is, right hander, left hander.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go with the Seattle one because then I'll change the pitcher too. I had obviously a different pitcher for Comerica,
Because
but
I mean, hold on, looking at Seattle, their pitcher's probably going to be
well, I was just looking at it. They would have already played a few games, and so coming to like Detroit opening day.
okay. Yeah, go ahead. We can do
I'm
without
saying like
whichever.
this is like series. I think is like 3 or 4, and I think they might play another team on the road and then come back, something like that.
All right,
But
go ahead.
so this is after a few games. But this is basically my opening day one. I got Robbie Grossman leading off in right
All right.
field. Jonathan Scope batting second at first base.
Okay.
Miguel Cabrera third at DH. Carlos Correa cleanup at shortstop. Jamer Candelario at fifth, third base.
Okay.
I don't know if he starts opening day. If he starts opening day again, so this was Comerica, this is a few games in. I had Haas as the catcher at 6.
All right.
But that could likely change, and my next guy could be moved up if Tucker Barnhart starts. It really just depends on who starts there.
Yep.
I had Willie at 6, playing second base. Akil Badu at 7. Oh, geez, no, sorry. Willie at 7, Badu at 8 in left field, and Derek Hill in center field batting ninth. And again, like this one, I said it was a few games into the season. This was hoping Justin Verlander signed, so I had him starting, and that's why I had Haas catching. But like I said, I could see it Willie and Haas switching and then Barnhart being in that spot. Or Barnhart still being after Candelario, split up the switch hitters. But it'd be Mize actually starting on opening day.
And I'm not doing this to hate, but I can see almost all of that. But Barnhart at catcher, Haas at DH, Miggy at first, Scope at second. Just because it's so early in the season. And I think they want to give it it depends on how well of a spring training Willie has.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna base it off of who gets the catching job. I feel like really the catching job should be almost up in the air at the moment. Who actually starts on opening day? I mean, you could lean towards either one if you want, but I would maybe think Barnhart gets to being the older guy, so I would move him down because he's not really that great of a hitter. But at the same time, I'm putting Badu and Hill down there because Badu's gonna have a sophomore slump, and Hill as a second leadoff man at 9, just kind of slide him down there. I don't know why. I saw people having Correa at second, Miguel at fifth, like Scope at cleanup. Like I don't know. Candelario, I saw like a third at second or third. Like I don't know why we're trying to give Candelario more at bats than Scope, or why moving Miguel. Like in what world we think Miguel's ever going to bat fifth or sixth? But that was a thing that I was seeing. I mean, yeah, you can make an argument. Scope going to clean up Correa at second. I mean, I'd be fine with it. It's just I'm looking at protection wise. You got Grossman, Scope, Miguel, Correa, Candelario, and then possibility Haas after that. So
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see the argument for Miggy going to fifth. I mean, he's older. You want to kind of maybe watch how many at bats he's getting. Yeah, because I mean he was good last year, but I mean he definitely had his bad days. We saw early in the season he had his bad days. So I could see where in a world where Candelario could go to 3 to try to get him a little bit more if you want him to be a part of the franchise. You're obviously if you give him your extension, you want him to be a part of that franchise, get him more hits, get him more at bats. So you move him to 3, Correa 4. I can see I can see Scope at second or Scope at in even third, and then maybe you're bringing somebody else up there with a little bit more speed to kinda, get them on base for those guys in the 3, 4, 5. So I can understand that, but yeah, I think maybe at 3, I mean, obviously, it's a staple for him there.
And again, that's just without Torkelson or Green. If Torkelson or Green win there, it'd be different. I mean, yeah, Scope would be at second base then. Torkelson would probably be fifth or sixth. Green would be in there for either Hill or Badu at, I don't know, 6 or 7. So it'd be different. That's just not including them. So
Yeah. No, I completely get that. Well, we will definitely revisit that when we make another video here in 3 months.
yeah, our semi-annual videos, it's like Bath and Body Works holiday sales, the semi-annual ones where you can get crazy lotion and candles. Shout out Bath and Body Works.
Alright, so moving on, we touched on this topic in the video we made after Vegas. The beef we had with, the Houston Rockets and who the Pistons had, and that first matchup in the regular season finally happened, Cade versus Jalen Green, and Cade got the last laugh. Pistons came away with the win, and, Cade had I think he had, like, 25 and 4, so not a bad game. Shot better than Jalen Green. Jalen Green had 23. Jalen Green was definitely playing more to beat Cade than to beat the Pistons,
Mm-hmm.
that game, and I think that showed in the end, in the final box score.
I didn't see any of it because I was at the Michigan game, but yeah, from box score watching, it was that, and then like all the stuff that happened after the game, where they were coming out and trying to get Cade to speak, and he's like, I'm not here for the like off the court stuff and saying that I'm better or all this drama and stuff. I'm here to play and win, and that's what we did. And then the whole Jalen Green posting the picture of him dunking with Cade next to him. I forgot what the caption was. I really wish I knew what it was. And then where Cade posted the picture of Kelly Olynyk and like the rest of the team helping him up and said it's about the team, not the one-on-one or whatever, like something along those lines. Kind of just taking a shot back and forth. I mean, Cade, I was talking about this with some other people. Cade shows a maturity that you don't see out of 19 and 20-year-olds, especially first pick 19 to 20-year-olds. Is he 19 or is he 18?
He is 20.
Okay, I was gonna say there's no way he's 18. Yeah, so yeah, still shows a certain maturity that obviously Jalen Green's not showing.
And
And
there
some
was
other
no
ones.
caption. There was no caption on that picture. It was just,
Oh, of
so the first.
Kelly helping him up.
No, of Cade. Oh, I was talking about Jalen Green. There was
Oh,
no
he didn't put
picture
a
on.
caption. Oh, I thought he said
No, it
something.
was,
All right.
so there was 2 pictures. There was one of him screaming and flexing, and then one of him with the dunk on Cade Cunningham.
Mm.
And then Cade's was, while I'm here, I'll follow him too. Cade had no caption either.
Oh, I swear he said something. Maybe not. Maybe it was just the interview that he said something.
Yeah, well, I no, you may have been thinking about everybody else that was posting it, where it was
Yeah.
like, it was Jalen Green playing for himself, Cade's playing for the team. And it was the starting 5. It was, minus Isaiah Stewart, it was, Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, Kelly Olynyk, and Killian all. I think it was right after a contact, like,
Yeah, I was seeing people said that they needed that picture, but
"Oh,
with Isaiah Stewart in there instead of Kelly Olynyk.
I could be very
They did my guy
wrong.
dirty.
I could be very wrong, but it also has Jalen Green in all 5 of them. You'll have to look at the picture
Yeah,
to
I'm going
confirm that
to.
you're not. But it has Jalen Green on his hands and knees with his head down on the ground.
I mean, probably.
And I didn't notice that until I just zoomed in. I don't know if that's Jalen Green or not. I can just
Let's
tell by
see
his
here.
raggedy hair. I think it is.
Let me see here. I see Christian Wood. Oh, right there. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could tell by the raggedy hair.
Christian Wood. I don't know who's behind Jeremy Grant, but yeah. See Evan, or I mean, geez, not Evan. Whatever the heck. Yeah. What is his name? Dude over on the right. Been there for 87 years.
Oh, Gordon.
Yeah, Eric Gordon. There we go. I don't know why I was wanting to call
There
him. I
that.
don't know why I was wanting to call him Evan. But yeah, that's most definitely Jalen Green.
Also want to
I
point
love
out
how
the
he
fact.
he put the location, the great state of Texas.
Yeah. I also want to point out that the supposed should have been number 1 overall pick, Josh Christopher, is averaging 2.6 points in 9 games this season. So
Yeah, he had I think 2 points in 12 minutes last night against the Suns or something like that. I was seeing
let's take a little look-see doodle here.
that
So
that Suns box score last night was something different with Chris Paul having 7 steals and Jalen Green having 4 of the turnovers.
oh yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, so he had 15 minutes last night versus the Suns. He had 6 points, 2 steals, and a rebound. He had 19 minutes a couple nights ago against the Warriors, and he had 2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. So yeah, he's not playing amazing brand of basketball right now.
Yeah, I mean, and a
Yeah, and
lot of
his
guys.
only so he has 3 games over 10 minutes against Utah back in November or in November. I said back in November, but in November. No, this is in October. So back in October, he had 12 minutes, shot 2 for 7, 4 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound.
And a lot of
So
other
not
guys are
doing great
better
out
than
there.
him.
What'd you say?
And a lot of other guys are better than him too, is why he's not getting a lot of opportunities. But then
Oh yeah, I
again, as I
mean,
pointed out, Eric Gordon's out here like just running up, getting minutes, so it's
yeah,
pretty
Eric
tough
Gordon
out there.
has 27 minutes on the he averages 27 minutes. I mean, you're also starting Jalen Green, Christian Wood, Kevin Porter, Jashawn Tate, and Daniel Tice. So Sengun's made a couple starts too. Good for Sengun.
Yeah, there we go.
I only like Sengun and Uzman on that team.
Yeah,
Only
well,
2 guys I root for.
I like watching Kenyon Martin Jr. sometimes.
I like watching Kevin Porter too.
Yeah,
He was
see,
he was a Piston for a hot minute.
was he?
He was yeah.
All
He
those
was
trade
drafted.
rumors.
No, he was drafted with the Pistons pick. The Cavs took
Oh
the
yeah,
Pistons traded the pick to the Cavs, and then the Cavs dropped him, and then he became a superstar
and then
down there.
yeah, I remember our trades, Whiteboard Wednesdays.
Yeah,
We featured him in the Whiteboard Wednesday.
we did. We did. Well, I mean, talking about Whiteboard Wednesday here,
Mm,
it's not Wednesday.
it's not.
Pistons, though, are involved in trade rumors for Marvin Bagley. They take on the Sacramento Kings tonight. Marvin Bagley has played, I believe, 1 game for the Kings.
Like 5
Uh,
minutes.
yeah, in a big contract dispute with them right now, and not even contract dispute, just doesn't want to be there. Like, feel like he's not like well represented. They told him he wasn't even going to be in the starting lineup, and this was before everything. They told him that he
Yeah.
wasn't going to be in the starting lineup, that he wasn't in their future plans, basically. Um, so I mean, yeah, I think it would be a good situation. We talked about it a little bit. I personally think Diallo right now, he's weirdly doesn't seem in the Pistons' plans
Not at all.
after they gave him like 12 mil a year. So I think get him out of there, set him free a little bit. Send Corey Joseph out so you can bring up Saban Lee, who has been tearing it up, who's averaging like 38 points in 4 games down in the G League, having an amazing, four game stint down there. And then you trade like 4 second round picks that you got from the DeAndre Jordan trade with the Nets.
I mean, yeah, I I want to say that there's contracts that have to be matched up because I would feel like Diallo and Bagley are close. Like they're decently sized contracts and whatever Corey Joseph get in. But like I was saying to you, Marvin Bagley is a former number 2 pick. Dude was taken after DeAndre Ayton, before Luca and Trey. And the fact that like his trajectory has been like this, where the Kings wanted to move him around. They're like, "Nah, you can't play power forward unless you can shoot." and then they kind of try to make him into a stretch big, and he couldn't do that. So like, okay,
I think they even tried to play him at small forward at one point when Harrison
yeah,
Barnes was hurt for a couple games.
yeah, maybe. And then they're like, oh, well, you can't really shoot the way we want you to, so you're gonna go to center. Oh, and then by the way, you like Rashawn Holmes are gonna come in here and play center over you, and whoever else. I don't know who the other one is. But then yeah,
I don't know for sure.
Harrison Barnes, like he can play a small power forward, and he just kind of lost the spot. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's skill. I don't know if it's like an attitude or whatever. Like not like he has an attitude, but like like going through the motions in practice or whatever else. I don't know what it is. Really, a guy that you take at the number 2 pick and you're not even playing him his 3rd season. Well,
Yeah.
technically his 2nd. I mean, with the shortened season. So I mean, 2.5 seasons, whatever you want to call it, and he's not playing already. Like I don't know. I mean, honestly, when we were looking at it back in the time, and like I wasn't that big into like the draft and everything, but I didn't really think Bagley was gonna be like a top player, and I didn't think he should have really went second, but that's what the Kings wanted.
Yep.
Um, I mean, obviously now looking back, it's easy to say that when Luka and Trey were after him, and I think that's the one that Shea was in, and there was somebody else right before. It was because the Pistons took somebody right before Shea, and somebody else was right after Shea. I was looking at it last night because I had to make sure. I was like, Bagley was the number 2 pick, wasn't he?
Probably
I was like, oh crap, that was the Luka and Trey draft.
Sekou.
It might have been. Let me look.
And I'm looking right now.
No, because it was in the top 10. I think Ku was outside the
So
top 10.
Bagley's making 11 mil.
Mm-hmm.
And Diallo signed a 2-year, $10 million contract in the offseason, and Corey Joseph signed a 2-year, roughly over $10 million deal in the offseason. So I think Hamadou's making about 5.5, and Corey Joseph's making about 5 million this year. So the contracts would match up almost exactly. Obviously, Pistons would be eating a little bit more, but the
Mm-hmm.
contracts would almost add up exactly. And then obviously add the picks onto there. I think it would be a good trade.
My fault. The Pistons didn't have a pick. Yeah, they just straight up didn't have a pick that year.
That makes sense. Oh, it was part of the Blake trade.
Probably. Let me see here. With the oh wait, no, I was looking at the wrong side. But really the names oh wait, no, the Pistons took Bruce Brown at 42. But
Look what he got us.
yeah. But looking at it, that was where it went. I mean, even Jaren Jackson was before Trae Young. You could have taken Jaren Jackson at 2 if you wanted a big. That was when Mo Bamba was there, Wendell Carter, Colin Sexton, Mikal Bridges, Shea, Miles Bridges. Like all of those guys, all in the top 12. And I mean, that's when we saw Anthony Simon. Like this low-key, like I've been saying, looking back at this draft is kind of deep.
No, it definitely is. A lot of young
And
guys that are getting contracts now.
like Shamit was there at 26. Oh, the Bulldog. He didn't come out. He was in 2018. Javon
Yeah.
Carter. But I mean, that's why I'm looking at it. Like you could have gotten a lot of guys. Kostas Antetokounmpo, the last pick of the draft, to the 76ers.
Yep.
But looking
No,
at it, like all those guys. I mean, not all those guys. So Ayton, Luka, obviously, Jaren Jackson, arguably, Trae Young, Sexton, Shea, Miles Bridges is kind of getting there. All those guys are. Oh, Michael Porter Jr. was also at 14. So like that's like 8 or 9 of the top 15 guys are becoming stars already.
Yeah.
And you're seeing Marvin Bagley at number 2 not even playing. So there's something up. I don't know, but there really isn't that many trades we were talking about either that that you can put together to get Marvin Bagley from the Pistons side.
And you think about it, you have Marvin Bagley for a handful of probably 6 weeks, and then you have to make a decision on what your next move is for the team because then you're log jammed at power forward center with Kelly Olynyk coming back. They said 6 weeks right now. That's until he gets looked at again.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be out for longer. So it's really up in the air, you're thinking, beginning of the or first of the year, you're really gonna probably have to reevaluate
Or
your situation.
you ride it out, you get him, you ride it out if you're still doing bad at the deadline. I know this isn't going to be a fun thing to hear.
You trade
And
Jeremy Grant.
yeah, I was gonna say you trade Jeremy
Yeah.
Grant.
No, that's fair. I'm not all for it, but I mean, it makes the most sense.
Like if you want him to play and you let the other young guys play, I mean, if you want,
You get a
because
couple
you're
more first
playing,
round picks.
yeah, and you're playing Kelly. I mean, you're paying Kelly Olynyk as it is, and I think Jeremy Grant's got 1 year left or something like that. So
No,
he's
more.
got
He
like
just
one
signed
or
like
two. Did he
he
get an
just signed like
extension?
no, he just signed a 5-year deal.
I thought he signed like a 3 or 4.
No, yeah, so if anything, he has like 2 to 3 years left.
I think he's got 2 at the most.
Like, you can't come out here and say he has 1 year left. Yeah, he's signed till hold on, let me see here. Yeah, okay, so he has
3 year,
this year and
yeah,
next year. Yeah.
yeah. So he's got the 2. Well, 1.5, or
But yeah, I mean,
1 3/4, whatever.
yeah, no, but yeah, he's definitely a guy that can be looked at, and he's doing amazing again this year, so
Yeah, I mean, if he's doing what he did last year, and like they aren't competing for the 8-9 spot, and teams want him, obviously you at least listen. But if you can get something decent, and in a draft, I don't know how deep this one actually is. I feel like it's a lot. It's pretty top heavy.
yeah.
But if you get it picks for either this draft or next year or whatever, I mean, I know teams would definitely take him on.
No. Yeah, no, they definitely wouldn't. Or a team that's, right at, like, the maybe not like, obviously a top-heavy team, but a team that's right at, about to make that jump, that needs them. Like, just thinking here.
I could see maybe, I don't know where exactly he fits, but for some reason, just because their power forward situation in the past, and like they're not doing that good this year, so maybe they won't be doing good at the deadline. But maybe like a Trailblazers,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm thinking, and I mean, this would never happen because
Clippers.
again, I'm thinking, but this would never happen because in division, the Bulls, with losing Patrick Williams for the entire year, they have a
Yeah.
void there at power forward now. The fact that they resorted to starting Caruso there, um,
Hey, goes nuts. I mean, they could really do like Drozen was like we talked about. He was playing power forward for the Spurs.
but yeah, but I mean, if you want a real guy there that can give you quality, but he might not fit there because Jeremy Grant's more of like a 2 or a 3 now, and there he would be like a 4.
Yeah, yeah, because
So
him next to Vucevic probably wouldn't be that ideal.
yeah,
I mean, maybe I think we talked about the Knicks possibly
the
too
Knicks always our team, but
when
he would
somebody
have to
when
move.
somebody mentioned Obi Toppin the other day.
He would have to me I mean, Jeremy Grant would go to 3 at that point, and
Oh yeah,
then because
yeah, he'd be a small forward. Yeah, never mind then.
yeah. But, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities of what could happen, Pistons still young in the season, got a couple good games coming up here, face the Kings tonight, like I said, then have another pretty tough stretch there as they face, the Pacers, Warriors, Lakers, Heat, Bucks, Clippers, Lakers, and that will take them to 20 games on the season, and that's when, Casey said he'll reevaluate the starting lineup and then go from there, so a lot to look forward to there.
Well, I mean, like I was saying though, just for the Marvin Bagley trade, I was saying give up Corey Joseph and Diallo and like maybe 2 picks. If you can finesse Buddy
Oh, yeah.
Hield off of them, then you get
Yeah,
Bagley
I
and
mean
Hield.
yeah. I think you gotta get first round picks if you're trying to get Bagley and Heald.
I mean, Hield's really got like 1 or 2 years left on his contract now too. They've been trying to trade him for like 3 years and nothing's happened.
But he's
He
actually doing good this
like
year now.
this dude's been a Laker and some other like teams for the past 3 years, but still on the Kings.
Yeah, I mean the only thing why I would say no to that is because he's actually doing good this year, so I don't think the
Yeah,
Kings
I
will
mean
trade
they
him.
can capitalize if the Kings are like I said. I think it said they were like on a 6 game losing streak, and they said if they lose like a few more, then Luke Walton might get fired. So who knows? I mean, again, that might be making like a weird environment for De'Aaron Fox, who they said was also could like be on the move or something. But
Yeah, Kings are currently 4-6 in their last 10.
yeah, that's
So,
what it is then.
yeah. They're 5-8, one game out, or a half a game out of the 10th seed, for the play-in game right now. So,
Yeah, I mean, they were looking decent for a little bit those first few games, and then I don't whatever happened. I don't know. Luke Walton finally set in, I guess. I don't know.
well, still a lot to go in the NBA season. That was just a look at how the young season's going here. Now, I mean, like we said, some other sports started since the last time we talked. One of the main ones is college football. And I don't think going into the college football season, anyone thought it would look like this. I don't think
No.
anybody thought that the top 10 would be what it is. Now that the college football playoff standings are out, I don't think. I mean, I talked with a state fan, Caden, and
Oh.
we like before the season, and we were just like hypothetically going through the records, and he
Mhm.
was like, yeah, I give us. Or I was like, realistically, I said a floor for you guys 6-6. I said a ceiling. I think I said ceiling was 8-4. And then I said a ceiling for Michigan was like 10-2 because we would lose like 2 cheap games, and then a, ceiling or I said a floor was like 6-6. I'm like, "We could just be god awful." Michigan now
Yeah.
comes in at, we are 9-1. We have 2 games, left. Maryland and, uh Maryland, Ohio State, and Michigan State also is 9-1 with 2 games left. They have, Ohio State and Penn State. So, I mean,
Tough ones to finish.
it that say the least.
I mean, if they can
Um,
I mean, I was gonna say if they can beat Ohio State, but then that puts them in the Big Ten championship. So,
yeah.
um, which means
I
whatever.
mean, right now
And then they would beat Wisconsin.
okay.
So
Let's
whatever.
run through
They'd
a
be Big Ten
hypothetical
champs
here.
in that case.
Let's run a hypothetical here. Ohio State beats Michigan State this weekend. Very likely possibility. Michigan wins versus Maryland. Very likely possibility.
Hmm. It comes
Michigan going
as usual. Comes down to Ohio State.
Michigan going to the Big Ten championship is
No,
in
that
their hands.
yeah, I was gonna say they'd have to get through Ohio State as usual. That's why
Yeah,
this is always the last game of the year.
I mean, it's also the biggest rivalry in
Should
college
well, yeah,
football.
that realistically it should be week one, so that way you know if your season's over or not after week one. But
No, but
instead of
I
just like
mean,
playing with yourself.
really, it comes down to this weekend. If Ohio State wins, Big Ten championship comes down to
I mean,
last weekend of the
Penn
season.
State could very well beat them almost too. They have a good defense. They have a good run defense. They held Michigan pretty good on the ground. They're just, I mean, their offense isn't like that.
Could beat
Isn't
who?
there? They could beat Michigan State also last week.
Well, yeah, but no, I'm just saying it really doesn't matter. If Michigan State loses this week, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Um, but
because if Michigan
so
State loses this week, yeah, it comes down to Michigan and Ohio State, and probably Ohio
yeah,
State wins it. So
yeah, so yeah, but if Michigan State loses to Ohio State, Michigan wins. Um, Last game of the season actually means something again for Michigan. It hasn't in a couple years.
I don't think it's meant anything since I've been alive, to be honest with you.
But yeah, I mean, I would say, weirdly, I think we have a better team than 2016 when we
Really?
made a good run. The
I was gonna say defensively, maybe.
defense looks really good. As much as people wanted to shit on Cade going into the season and shit on him early in the season,
They still do
when
right
he
now.
when he has had to pass, he has, and he's done good
Except
at
for
it.
maybe the last 2 games have been a little questionable, but yeah, everybody's been complaining about it still.
How? His last 2 games have been his best passing performance of
He's
the year.
he's had some accuracy issues. I'm not saying he's bad.
No,
I'm just saying
I'm
like
just saying I'm
people
saying, well, of course, when you have to pass and when you're actually having to pass and you're actually having to pass more than run, you're gonna have a little bit of accuracy issues. You haven't passed that much all year, but the fact he put up 350 yards on Michigan State and 4 touchdowns, and I think it was like 250 yards on Penn State and 3 touchdowns with the game-winning touchdown pass from 40 yards out.
Yeah, and I mean, if he's on, then yeah, they're good. But at the same time, if you get a dynamic JJ drive too, but what I'm saying is that people have been talking about he's been a little off of his accuracy past few games, underthrowing, throwing behind, throwing over. I mean, it's whatever. I don't know, but it's also. I mean, they're talking a lot about the Penn State one, but also at the same time, you only had one of your two running backs, so yeah,
Yeah.
had a different situation than you usually do, but it's whatever. I don't know. I didn't think their running would keep up the way that they have, so whatever he has to do passing wise, I guess works. Then again, I don't watch, and I don't really care. But
No, no, I completely understand what you're trying to say, and I was just, uh I was just looking here at, like, him compared to he is 62% on his, pass attempts, completed. So I mean, it's not great. He ranks just, like, around 50th in the nation, but that's, again, to a team that doesn't pass that often. You have to factor that into it. Um, but yeah,
and I
Michigan
think
football.
I think with Ronnie Bell being healthy, that would have changed it a lot.
Oh,
He would
yeah,
have
I
had
mean, that would've changed their whole
he would have had
offensive
a
scheme.
receiver that he knew you could trust and like a number one option and everything, and still really, what is this, week 9, 8?
Going
No,
into week
7.
11.
Oh, geez, I'm thinking of NFL. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're at 9, aren't they?
No,
Uh,
they're 10.
well, 10 now. Yeah. So yeah, going into whatever week and still not having a clear number one receiver probably isn't ideal.
I mean, Cornelius Johnson kind of is.
Yeah, but then you'll see like after the Michigan State, Andrel Anthony might be number one, and then some days it might be Sanders still, and then
No,
maybe
Antrel Anthony
Wilson.
the thing is Antrel Anthony hasn't caught a pass since the Michigan
I
State
think
game.
he might have. No, he did. I think he did in the next game. Uh,
Uh, yeah, okay, so he caught 6 passes versus Michigan State, 1 versus Indiana, 1 versus Penn State.
yeah, and then like Wilson shows up, gets two touchdown catches. He had like 3 catches on the day. 2 of them were touchdowns. On
Those
Saturday.
were also but keep in mind, really okay, yeah, other than the Wisconsin game, Wilson, 2 catches, 1 catches, 3, 3. Where I think Cornelius Johnson, he has 30 catches on the
I
year.
mean, yeah, he should
Uh,
be because
he
he was
gets
probably he was the number 2 outside of Ronnie Bell, and then they stopped
yeah,
passing.
so I mean, right now he's 4 catches, 3 catches, 5, 5, 3. He's has consistent catches with consistent yards. I think he is the clear-cut number 1, and obviously Cade's favorite. He has 30 catches, 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, leads the team in touchdowns, receptions. So,
Yeah, I mean, he should be. I guess he was number 2, but when you lost Ronnie Bell, nobody really like took the number 1 spot right away.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
kind of been
I
back
think
and
it took
forth.
Cornelius Johnson a second to actually get into that and kinda find his way again. But I completely understand what you're saying. The one obviously glaring thing going into this week and then in the Ohio State game, the injuries of our running backs, Corum and Edwards. Edwards didn't look 100% last week when he got his
Mhm.
touches. I think you sit Edwards and Corum again this week. Um,
I think you gotta get
and there's
Corum going again, though. At least
no,
not as
well,
much as he usually does. But I think it was just like a minor foot injury or something. They didn't want him to get hurt. At least
but that's the thing.
if he's 100% or 95 or whatever, give him a few carries so that way like he's still has game action.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming with that. I was gonna say not play him at all just to make sure he's
But then
100%,
you don't want
but
anything to
maybe
happen to Haskins running the entire time either.
yeah, maybe make him maybe let him play the first quarter, let him get some touches, maybe 5 to 10 touches, if that, and then say, "Okay, you're out for the rest of the game. Just rest up, get ready for Ohio State because that's the game that's gonna matter if
Mhm.
Ohio State beats Michigan State."
I mean, yeah, if they're doing good and Maryland can't do anything and stuff, then yeah, play somebody else. I mean, like I said, we saw the what was it, the fourth string out against Indiana?
Oh, yeah, Dunlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name here? Uh Chavary Dunlap, number 22. And then we had Leon Franklin, number 40. I know he was out there.
I think
Yeah.
I still to this day swear I saw Wilson line up at running back a few times, but I guess not.
Who? Wilson.
Like the receiver.
Yeah, he has 3 runs for
Okay.
59 yards.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. He probably did, honestly. Um, but yeah, Michigan has a lot riding on these next 2 weeks from and if they can get these 2 wins, I mean, it kind of the
Bring some
thing is
excitement back that isn't there.
yeah, it really does. Well, where there is some excitement, Michigan basketball won their first 2
Mhm.
games. Their coaches beat racism
Yeah, they did.
um, down there in DC in their second game against Prairie View. Good team all around, it looks like. I think there's still some struggles they're trying to figure out. These games have been close, but,
Yeah,
you're
well,
doing
this
that
one
with
was
2
that one wasn't.
you're
The
doing
second one
yeah,
wasn't.
but you're doing you have a lineup with 2 new guys in there, Devontae Jones and, Caleb Houston. Diabate really is providing a lot off the bench for them in a way I don't think they've really seen in the past couple years.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, overall, they look like one they haven't played a game that's really, stuck out yet. Once they play Seton Hall this week, I think that's
Say
gonna be that's
Seton
gonna be
Hall
their
will be the
first test.
most. Yeah, I mean
That'll be their
Buffalo.
first test until
Buffalo's still there's
yeah.
they're projected to win the MAC. So
No. Yeah, Buffalo was probably their first test, not a amazing test, but one of their first tests there, to kinda see what was going on. But, yeah, I think, Seton Hall's gonna be the first test to see what that young core is about. I mean, Caleb Houston's bound. I think if not Seton Hall, I think one of those 3 games after that, he's gonna have a 20 to 30-point game.
yeah. I mean, I think it's probably easy to say. I mean, outside of maybe what Dickinson did last year, I'd say Caleb Houston's probably the best freshman I've seen in years. With Michigan, but then
Yeah.
again, like freshmen usually didn't play as much, or let alone start. I mean, Iggy did, but he wasn't that great. I said it would probably be Dickinson, like pulled it, but he didn't start. So,
Did
um,
Franz start?
yeah, but he kind of took a little bit too to get into it,
Yeah.
and he was more there defensively. He didn't really do much on offense until last year. I would say that obviously Caleb Houston's the most complete freshman they've had in a while. And it's been nice to see that he's just hit the ground running. And he kind of does like they've been saying he does everything. He's not like, yeah, he's known as the shooter, but at the same time he does everything pretty well, and that's why he's projected a top 10 in the draft. Because he can shoot. I mean, obviously, you still probably want to get better at the shooting because
Yeah.
sometimes he does. But I mean, when he's in the flow and in rhythm, he's looking good. He's not that I've seen really where he's getting beat on defense. I mean,
Mhm.
that'll come with tougher opponents and quicker and everything else. But so far he's been okay on that. Rebounding, this man's always around the board somehow,
Yeah.
and he makes the right passes a lot of time, and it's just really gonna see. It's like that's kind of like the defense. You're gonna see if that continues, if he continues to read better defenses on cuts and when to make a risky pass or not. Or I mean, him and Giabate, you can see have a great connection. Um,
Oh, yeah, 100% they do, and I think that really comes from coming in the same class and, kinda just obviously, they probably may have played AAU together or against each other at some point in time, I feel like,
yeah, I
and
think they might have played together.
yeah, they definitely know each other, so it definitely comes with that, I feel like.
Yeah, it's just been nice. I mean, um, the question mark, and luckily they haven't had to figure it out, but they're gonna have to figure it out. Is the bench guard spot? I don't. I mean, maybe because of his seniority. I don't foresee Nunez doing a lot as the backup shooting guard slash small forward. Um, I need to see Kobe Buffkin and Frankie Collins getting the minutes, figuring out
Yeah,
what they got to do because one of them's got to run the offense on the bench. Luckily, you can maybe survive. And plus, Zeb hasn't played. Zeb's been sick, or he was hurt and then
yeah,
he was sick, and he's going to lose his spot.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, you really have a year to figure out those guard positions because Devontae
Yeah,
Jones
yeah.
is gone.
I mean, like
Eli
for the
Brooks
rest of
is
the
gone.
year though, so that way you can know who's running the ball or running the offense off the bench. But what I was gonna say is that luckily right now at least you have the liberty of Jones coming out and Kobe or Frankie going in at point guard, but then still running the ball through Eli. And then when Eli comes out, put Devontae Jones back in and run the ball through him. So at least you have that. But that's what I'm saying is like you're not running the ball through Nunez. So there's that. And I mean Giabate isn't like I'm meaning like, straight up point guard distributor or like knows what he's
Yeah.
doing, can control the offense. Like that I think Juwan knows that. I mean, obviously he knows that what he's doing. And I think he can continue to sort out the minutes. Like I said, when Devontae Jones isn't out there, Eli's running it and then switch it off. But it would be nice just in case you need one of them to be able to lead a little bit off the bench if they're both getting rest or, something happens, unfortunately, and you need somebody to go to. And you got to look at these two freshmen that haven't really had experience in doing that.
Yeah, no, and I mean we gotta wrap it up here soon,
Yeah.
but um, you gotta get minutes for those guys because you gotta see what they got. Because I was just thinking about it. I think for the first time, in at least from what I can remember, if everything goes as planned, well, I mean, not in a good way, I guess. You will have an entire new starting five next year because Jones is gone,
Mm-hmm.
Brooks is gone, Houston gone to the draft, Brandon Johns graduating, and Dickinson draft.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have an entire new starting five, two new guards. I mean, yes, the only thing that you will have is guys that have been on the team. Obviously, with your young guards, Diabate will have a year under him, and Terrence Williams will have a year or two under him.
But yeah, Terrence Williams, I'd say Jet starts at shooting guard. You figure out the point guard, and they're getting some good centers of Giabate still there. Maybe he's at center, but
I think Diabate stays a year. I don't think he goes right away.
I don't know. I think he could. Well, and then you have Isaiah Barnes who hasn't seen the floor at all. Who's probably gonna have to get redshirted. I don't know why he's not seen the floor. But it just kind of shows the deep. But like I was saying before, I was comparing them, and I'm still going to compare them to the Kentucky team. We saw Booker go 11 as the sixth man.
Yeah.
So Giabate can do the same thing. He was projected in the lottery too, and he's now the sixth man. And if he does what he's been doing, or even better, he's definitely capitalizing. Like he already had that projection as it is. If he goes off, then I think you lose him, and we see a Devin Booker situation.
I mean, Diabate is currently putting up 6.5 and 6.5 in 15.5 minutes. That's 2 games underneath his belt, so that could change. But if he stays around 7 and 7, that could get some people talking. He also has a block and a half on his name.
Oh yeah, he's a monster on defense. That's what I was saying from remember, like from day one. I said, imagine him picking you up at half court. Like
the only thing I think that NBA scouts would look at him for is to gain a little weight.
Yeah.
He is 210, 6'11".
I'm surprised he hasn't done that yet. But yeah, that'd be his reason to stay. Really, is to work on the body. But it's, I don't know. We say that. We say that.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter could have left. He needed more work in the paint, and I think that's what Diabate
he needed overall game work.
I think that's what Diabate will need is one more year, and then he can. I think that's what. I think having Howard as his head coach was perfect because he can say you're not ready. He can just be you're not ready.
He's got the quickness and ability, and everything's all there. So yeah. But like, I don't know. I was saying to my dad and stuff too. Like we all keep saying these guys need NBA bodies, but somehow like it works for them. Like Giabate's skinny, Imani Bates is skinny. Chet is a stick man.
Is a twig.
Like we're getting to this point where now like guys aren't having to be big. Like they're just straight skill and quickness and everything. I mean, obviously, maybe it would definitely help, but I don't know. At this point, I don't know if you need to be all that big.
No, I understand. I get what you're trying to say.
It's kind of
I just feel
just a new wave of
Yeah.
of bodies, I guess. I mean,
I
KD
I just feel
survived.
I just feel like it's gonna be hard for Diabate to go that high, and I mean, I'm just thinking future-wise, like, next year-wise, having a lineup of, like, him, Terrence Williams, obviously Jet, Frankie Collins, or Kobe in there would be, a
Possibly Isaiah
decent, then
Barnes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
yeah,
don't want him to go. I don't want him to look at lottery projection. I mean, I do because that means they have a real good chance of national championship. But for him to stay, I mean, I would definitely want him to stay another year. But
yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, Michigan's looking good 2 games into the season, obviously have a tough matchup. I believe that is, tomorrow night when this is going up tonight against Seton Hall. Michigan did move up to 4 in the AP polls today,
hmm
up 2 spots. Then they play UNLV at 12:30 AM on, Saturday, which, Friday night, basically Saturday morning, and then, Tarleton on next Wednesday at 7 p.m. at home. So that will end off their November games. And then to start off December, on December 1st, they play their first probably, big matchup. They play North Carolina in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. So
yeah, it just
that's,
depends on how North Carolina's doing. Then yes,
yeah, it really
you
will.
definitely
I
have to
mean,
have something sorted out by then.
yeah, you would think so. But I mean, there's kind of our wrap up of our, we may,
Or
I, you know, I,
semi-annual.
we may come back sooner than later. Not promising anything, but who knows? I mean, do you got anything else more?
No, I said a
Got anything
lot.
to plug?
Nope.
Don't got anything to plug here?
No, we already did it early on.
Alright. Yeah, but that's all. I mean, we may be back sooner than later. And maybe a bi-monthly or bi-weekly thing. So maybe
Yeah,
2
that's
every month.
possible.
2 every month would be a better situation. But that's all we got for you guys. If you could like and subscribe, that would help us out a lot. And we'll see you guys next time.